Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know the actual song well enough to like butcher the lyrics any more than I already did. That is a tale for another episode. Welcome, campers, to the Campfire Gaming Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm going to be your host for tonight. Today, I've got Chris and Matt with me. No Rich. We are poor, gentle feathers. How are we doing today?
Doing good.
Doing all right.
Excellente. So if it's your first time... Oh, no.
I was just to say,
Pausing.
we miss your bad puns whenever we do bonus episodes without
Bad
you.
puns. I don't have bad. These are world-class puns. World-class.
Comedic gold right here.
Yeah.
Jeepers, that's what you guys pay me for. Just puns. That's it. I just make jokes the whole cast. Zero input to the show. Just stupid transitions. Can I get to the part where I tell people to like the videos, like the podcast? Okay, what else do you want
I'm
to
going
say
to let you get started, and I'm going to bring up
Okay,
something else
got
that
it.
doesn't matter.
Perfect. Try and make it about velociraptors. If you can give me like a 5-sentence statement about raptors, I will oblige to your interruption. If this is your first time around the campfire with us, go ahead and hit us up on our website, campfiregamingpodcast.com, where you can join our Discord, hit us up on Twitter, or take some photos with us on Instagram. You know, when we're playing through some of these games, like our book clubs, which we have an excellent book club coming up soon. You know, you can say, hey, I done played that game too. Again, campfiregamingpodcast.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and then press the subscribe button or whatever noise it makes in YouTube that I'm not going to be able to make. Does it make a noise when you click it, or is it just a
No,
No.
it doesn't.
There's
make
no
a
noise?
No.
YouTube, what are you doing? Like, could we get it? Can we make it ourselves so that when you press it, it goes subscribed?
Mm,
I'm going to tell you yes.
Excellent. Good enough. Perfect for me. So yeah, go ahead and hit those if you enjoy the content. That is, you know, if you're not a fan, subscribe anyways because it helps us out on the YouTube, but you don't have to watch everything. Yes, you do. Today's episode, we're going to focus primarily on some Battlefield talk because we did get to play the beta. We do have a hint of news and some upfront stuff to get through before that. So if you're watching on YouTube, Chris will probably have a bookmark if you want to skip all the news stuff. But otherwise, let's jump into some technology. Matthew, have you heard that Xbox Cloud Gaming is now available elsewhere? Not just in your own backyard.
I did. It's exciting. Yeah, those of you that are Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers in Japan, Mexico, Brazil, and Australia, you now have access to Xbox Cloud Gaming. So,
For whatever reason, when you said Xbox, like a subscriber to Game Pass Ultimate, in my brain, it just went straight to Devolver Premium Purchase.
premium purchase. Yep. So you can play it in your backyard and down under now. So
Ooh.
it's a
Oh, I see
good
what you
pun.
did there.
I'm getting good.
Yeah, it's-
Learning from Mike.
yeah.
Some other
Can you give us an Australian accent when you say down under, though?
Oh boy.
I always, if I do, I have to start it out with crikey.
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 You can play
No.
that Game Pass down under.
There you go. But another I'll stop.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that's exciting
Oh,
news
boy.
that that's there now. Some other news too is that you can actually download the Xbox Game Pass app on your Xbox consoles. So now if you want to try a game that's on Xbox Cloud Gaming, before downloading it via Game Pass, you can kind of essentially demo it, or maybe you don't want to take up the room on your hard drive, just stream it. So there you go. It's exciting. The last bit of news too with Xbox Cloud Gaming is that they finished upgrading all the servers. So now they're all running on essentially Series X hardware,
Ooh.
which maybe that's a reason it's hard to find Series X's out in the wild. So
Yes, that's the
it's
sole
actually
reason.
Yeah, it's the sole reason. No, that's actually really exciting because that means now that they were all originally powered by the Xbox One X hardware. So now, being the new hotness with the Series X, things are just going to run better, and we might start seeing some other things turned on or upgraded slowly as far as like resolution and you know things like the ray tracing and all that exciting stuff. So and I mean, it's great news for all the Xbox One OG owners, right? The original consoles, because now you can play
This guy.
Yep, you can play a bunch of newer and sexier looking games through the streaming, even though your OG Xboxes can't handle a lot of the new hotness. So
New hotness. So now that Gemu Pasu wa Nihon ni arimasu, do you think that they're going to expand their market? As
Like-
Game Pass is available in Japan.
Oh. I'm bad with languages.
Gemu Pasu wa Nihon ni arimasu.
I struggle with English, man.
so what's your question in English?
Do you think that they're trying to or that this will help them expand their market in Japan, having the ability to do the cloud gaming? They don't have to try and get a hold of a bigger system, and it's one step closer to like
It's a step.
the apps being available. And I'm assuming this includes PC, correct?
Well,
So if
it's
you're
already on
playing
PC via, was it xbox.com
Oh, okay.
/play, I think it is. Yeah, it's been there for a while. So this is just
So
the
the
consoles.
the
but
app
yeah, I mean,
is
you can
still not available on PC for them,
you do it through the web browser.
right?
So
That's a bummer.
yeah. So again, they're slowly expanding it, making sure it works. So I imagine we'll get it to like smart TVs and stuff like that soon too. So
Have you guys
Yeah.
tried it yet? I haven't.
not on console, no. I
Not
actually
in
haven't.
Japan, no.
Not
No,
in Japan? Oh.
I
okay.
have not tried the overseas one yet.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
So is it a little different?
I think
Tastes
so.
a little different.
Matt, we had the beta for the cloud, didn't we? Didn't we try that?
Yeah. So
it
I
was
tried.
terrible then, but
No, that was, oh god, what, a good year and a half ago. We tried like GeForce Now, Stadia, and Xbox,
all the cloud stuff.
and Project X Cloud as it was at the time. And I mean, they all worked relatively well. I mean, we had various opinions on their quality. Obviously, I think the best story is Rich going to Buffalo Wild Wings and playing via GeForce Now.
That's right.
So, and it worked very well for him. But I didn't think it was off. Xbox Cloud Gaming was awful whenever I tried it. Definitely needed some improvements, but I also haven't played it since January, February a year ago. So
I really pushed it through
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
mobile aspect. Like I was really trying it on my phone to see how it worked out. And there was so much, even though I had like a good network connection, I was sitting like a foot away from my 5G or whatever modem. And it was just not keeping up well. So the whole wireless aspect of it wasn't there at the time. I think it's there now because like Stadia, I play wirelessly, works just fine. So we'll have to go back to xCloud and see how it works.
Yeah.
Might have to give it a shot, see what it does. Load it up on the PC here.
or on your Series X.
Yeah, that's fair.
Xbox.
It'd save me some time from downloading, so.
Exactly. You can stream it.
That was the nice part about it, is you could really just boot it up and go.
Mhm.
I mean, that's for our book club, we're playing Resident Evil Village, and I'm playing it on Stadia, and it's so nice. There's no boot, there's no nothing. It's just turn on the app. It's the only game I own for Stadia, but you know, it's just there and it works, and I don't have to do anything, and it's pretty smooth. So I assume xCloud is probably a step up, especially if you're running it through like your console.
Sure.
Yeah.
Got some big news for Monster Hunter fans. If you are not a Switch owner and you want to crush some giant dino butt, it's coming to Steam January 12th. So early first quarter, you will be able to do some serious damage to giant animals who want nothing more to eat, sleep, and poop. Vicious, vicious game, but a lot of fun.
Have you picked up Rise for Switch?
I haven't. I honestly, I don't have time for another
Yeah.
game yet. I'm still trying to work my way through Skyward Sword, so and Eastward, right? But
Mhm.
no, it is something I do want to pick up because they made some really big quality of life improvements to the game. Such as having like a rideable mount that you can get to places. I don't know if you remember slogging through, like if you would die and you have to go back to catch up to your buddies to fight the monster, and
Yep.
like it's on the other side of the map from the camp. You'd run for like 10 minutes to get there. Now it's
Mhm.
pretty quick, it's pretty fast. They've got like zip line things that you can do too. Like every game is doing zip line stuff now.
Zip lines. Yep.
Um, so they've got stuff like that, so you can do it. Unfortunately, though, there is not cross-play or cross-save with the Switch version of the game. Maybe someday, but
Not
Yeah,
yet.
it just didn't seem like they gave a response on Twitter to a lot of the fans that were asking for that. But honestly, reading their response, it really just felt like like, hey, we can't do it, but it felt more like we don't want to do it right now. So hopefully it comes in the future for people. At least the cross save, that seemed to be what people really wanted. But
I don't know
yeah.
why. I mean, you could play it docked and it looks amazing. Like this is one of the best looking Switch games right now. Like they really pushed development into performance and graphics with this game. It looked like this was the early indicator for the rumored Switch Pro. This was the game that they're like, oh, this has to be running on a Switch Pro because of the way it looks. There's no way
Mhm.
they're going to launch this on the Switch. And then all of a sudden the release date hit and they're like, oh, well, maybe we get a Pro at that point. Never happened, but it's gorgeous on the Switch. So I don't know why you would want to play both and jump back and forth. I don't do that with most consoles or games or anything like that. Matt, I know you did that with Destiny. Is there any like rhyme or reason to why you were like, I want to play on both places?
So the reason I was really well, one is just I have different groups of friends, right? At least back when I used to play a lot of Destiny, right? I'd have PC friends, I'd have PlayStation, I'd Xbox. But what I hated about that was that I had to buy it. Well, I guess whatever everybody has to buy the game for each system, but it sucked that like my progress and my progression with my characters were not linked between all three systems. Um, so I was really happy when they implemented cross save for Destiny because it allowed me to, when I played solo, I played a lot of times on PC because I got a better experience. I had 2K running at 140 some frames a second. It was fantastic, right? Where at the time the Series X wasn't out and their fancy 4K 60 update wasn't out. So, when I played with friends, I played on the Xbox because that's where they were at. But the experience as far as visually wasn't there because it's like a 30 FPS game before their patch last December, I believe it was. So, it was just kind of preference and groups of friends. I had a few friends that when it went free started on PlayStation, and it was just fun to jump over there and go like, hey, I don't have to re-earn stuff. The downside there was they're they're starting out new characters and bringing new characters in the world. That whole onboarding process with missions and campaigns sucked though. So it was everybody's like,
That's
I'm
fair.
so confused what to do after the first mission. And I'm like, so that was the downside of having the cross save was I wasn't in the same boat, and I couldn't. I'd be like, what do you see on the screen? Like, what's it tell you to do? I don't know. It's like, well, shit, I can't even compare to my guy because I'm already level 1,000,000 and
Right.
all the quests done. But so I could see like that's where I think the cross save sometimes is more important than the cross play. If this was an insanely big, like a lot of the multiplayer games, I think cross play would be more important. But cross save, maybe you have those friends on PC you play with, or right, just a couple small group, or you're out and about a lot, so you use your Switch, and then you come home and you have a nice rig and you want to play it in 4K 60 and whatever other visual improvements they're going to be doing. So
Yeah, that makes sense. The bonus side for Monster Hunter players, if you do pick it up on Steam, and that's where you're first starting to play it, you've got a good amount of time before Sunbreak comes out. They don't have a date for it. It's just summer 2022. So you'll be able to jump into Rise before the new expansion comes out, and you're not going to already be super behind on gear in comparison to like Switch. I know it's not cross play, but you'll be able to catch up to it before the expansion gets there. So just about by the time you're finishing up the main parts of it, if you're playing it consistently, there'll be some new content coming out for it. So, but it hasn't said if Sunbreak is coming to PC directly, but I assume so, just based on what we're reading here with the tweet that was there. So, any of you guys play League?
Never.
Nada.
A long time ago. Good, probably 10 years for me now.
Ooh, it's been a while for me too. I was an avid player for a while. Was silver ranked for a good chunk of time, which that's not super great. That's like second tier in the ranked modes. But they are disabling, as far as a coming patch goes, they're going to disable the all chat option. So while you're in game, you could usually speak to you, or you could speak to everybody. One of the things that League is best known for is being toxic AF. Like the amount of times that I have been told to like kill myself in a game just because you slip up. The game snowballs sometimes, right? If you mess up on your lane, somebody on the other side can snowball so hard that it doesn't matter what you do as a team, that person's going to kill 4-on-1. It's ridiculous with some players, or some characters you can play as. And a lot of the conversation starts to be, damning or blaming the person that they think is to fail for that. Whereas you could be like, yeah, but my jungle never came to help me out, and I was 2v1 the whole time. What do you want me to do? I'm just going to sit here. I can't even farm. It's worthless at the top lane. Like, what do I do, right? So they're trying to remove all chat to kind of reduce some of that toxicity, which I think they have it a little backwards. 90% of the games that I played, when somebody would start the toxic chatter, it was usually your own team. And it was usually because they were so mad at you for not being, the best player in the world, that they had to tear you down and rip you apart to make it, feel better. I don't know why they do it. Feel better about how the game is going, make everything copacetic in their minds that it's not their fault and they're a good League player. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what this does. It was kind of fun. Like, I don't know if you remember playing Hots, Matt. It was kind of fun talking smack to the other team. It was always like, for me, it was always friendly. It was always like, oh, dunked on, or some stupid thing. You jump with the barbarian and crush them. But so it'll be neat to see if there is any change in the level of toxicity, or if it really helps them to identify where it's coming from. Because I don't think all chat is really the main problem. It's usually internal, and that's how teams lose.
Yeah.
They start hating on each other instead of working together.
That was my experience in Hots. But no, it was kind of interesting. I don't hear a lot about League anymore. I'm not tied into the MOBAs scene really at all. But anytime like I hear of like toxic communities, and I'm not trying to shit on the people that are not toxic and are in playing League and in these communities, but I swear every time I hear somebody or an article or something talk about toxic communities, like League is like top 3. Like they're like, I always hear about
Easily.
it. So and that definitely sucks. I mean, speaking from experience, I didn't let it get to me, but like when I played Hots, I sucked. I think I've told this story before. I played with Mike and Cullen, and they threw me into a ranked game, and everybody was like, whatever the max level was there, 40, 50 or whatever. I don't know what it was. And I was just a new player, and people were just saying very nice things about me who sucked. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to play all the characters I'd pick up. And, I didn't know, how to jungle and how to pick, whatever, right? Half those terms you said meant nothing to me, right? So, it's just
it did kind of leave you like top lane by yourself too. Like you were like, I picked this guy. Like, well, good luck.
Yeah.
You're gonna be by yourself for most of this.
Go up here and stand there, and yeah. So it's unfortunate that it just sucks in general, especially if you like these games, that the community just is like this. So, but I think to your point, yeah, it's I don't think getting rid of all is going to do that. It's just gonna probably cut down on the cross team toxicity, talking crap to the other team if they do something, and vice versa. So
it was kind of nice playing. I like MOBAs for the most part. I got started with League, so I didn't get into Dota, but playing Pokemon Unite has been kind of a refresher. I just kind of paid to win at the same time, and I have not paid anything, and I still do decent. But there's no conversation. You can't type to each other. I haven't played on mobile, so I don't know if that's changed any. But you can't, like, the only thing you can do is like ask for help or ping locations or set like smiley faces and sad faces and stuff like that. And I think that's all you need. You don't interact with the other team. There's no communication. There's no reason to talk to the other team. It's all internal based on, pings and like defend area, and then it pings, right? So and those are available in League of Legends. Like you can set pings and you can set defend areas, things like that. But removing all of that chatter, I think makes it a better, safer place to play the game. Just what I see from Nintendo, and I think Tencent actually did that one as well. So maybe they're taking some lessons from the Pokemon MOBA.
Yeah, we'll see. I also, for a lot of games anymore, if there's well, I guess the Halo flights. When I tried playing a couple games by myself, it just throws you in the general chat, right? I had about 10 seconds fill of that chat before I just went and started a party by myself, just so that I didn't have to go in and mute everybody. I just threw me in a party by myself, and I didn't hear the in-game chatter from people. It was just, yeah.
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm past that, just sitting in there with the lobbies with obnoxious people. The only place I'll do that is being squad leader in Hell Let Loose, where you need that communication for that game, and you have to suffer through some things sometimes. Luckily it's mostly good, I should say. There's not really a toxic community, but there's been one or two experiences where it was interesting. So
I remember putting together a team for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare 2, I want to say, and just getting into some of those game battle chats, and everybody on every other team was just a shit talking a-hole. Like, it was so toxic. So I understand removing the all chat and getting rid of that, but for this specific situation, I think it's a failure. I don't know anything about this next one, Matt. Machine Games, what are they doing?
Pew, pew, pew. Well, they are the developers of the Castle Wolfenstein games, the most recent ones. Was it a New Order and Colossus? Anyways, I forgot. I messed up the name of the second one. But anyways, and Old Blood. I guess that kind of...
Young Blood? Medium Blood?
No, there was Young Blood, too.
Medium Blood.
The Old Blood was, you went actually back to Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to be
middle-aged
But New Colossus was the second one, right?
Yep.
Anyways, so they made these Wolfenstein games. They're fantastic. I haven't played Young Blood, so I don't know if that's good or not. But the other three were really good. They're also the developers of the Todd Howard-led Indiana Jones game. But now I think, and I don't know a ton about the studio and how many teams they have, but from a LinkedIn, someone that works over at Machine Games, their LinkedIn shows that they're working on an unannounced project. So leads me to think there might be two teams over there working on something. So I personally, I love the Wolfenstein games, so I hope it's a third one of those. If they do actually have two teams working over there, an Indiana Jones game, and then hopefully their third real installment of Wolfenstein would be really awesome. But
if I had to guess, they're really just bringing Indiana Jones into Skyrim, and it's going to be
just a mod,
a little bit of a mod. Yep.
For the 15-year anniversary.
Could you imagine running through the game like Skyrim and just hearing da 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 da?
I'll bet there's a mod out there where you can play as a dude with a whip and a fedora.
No,
but I'm excited because I've really enjoyed the games they've put out,
Mhm.
and I've definitely loved their Wolfenstein games. So if we can get a third main installment from the Wolfenstein franchise, I'd love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know where Youngbloods left off in terms of wrapping up that storyline. Because, I mean, Youngbloods, you're playing as BJ's
His-
daughters. So I don't know what route they go with that. But, I mean, realistically, it wouldn't be shocking to, even if it was a team of like 5 people doing the pre-stage work while the main team still focuses on Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Like, who knows? With this team, I'm excited for whatever they do, especially if it's a first-person shooter, because they are so good at it.
Yep. No, really good studio over there. So
I
hopefully
actually
they
haven't
are working on 2
played.
games.
They're on the Switch. I really should pick them up, but I just have not played the Wolfenstein series.
Oh,
They're
the
both
new
on Game
ones.
Pass.
also
Or
true.
sorry, they're all 4 on Game Pass, but definitely recommend playing the 2 main games.
Yeah, the 2 BJ
The second
games.
one got so weird. And I
Oh
love
my
it.
god, that game got awesome. I love that game so much.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday.
It got me like halfway through. That thing that happened
Yep.
in that game.
Yeah, you
halfway
can't say
through.
you don't. Don't
'Cause
want to spoil it.
But yeah,
I'm
I
never
know
gonna
it's-
play it, so if you want to spoil it, go ahead. Like I am legitimately probably never gonna get around to it until my kids are old enough that I can play a game like that on the main TV. I
That's fair.
love my Switch, but the majority of my play isn't handheld for the bigger, shinier games like that. Like I will play Eastward, I will play like Gato Roboto, I will play probably Metroid, things like that, all handheld. But you know, like Zelda and like I guess I played a lot of the Pokemon series handheld too. But some of those other bigger titles or first-person shooters in general are much better on a bigger screen than the handheld.
You should play it on your gaming PC because it should be on Xbox Game Pass.
Well, that's probably where it's either that or on my television somehow. Maybe Game Pass app comes there.
Once the cloud gaming app comes, yeah.
They need to hurry the hell up with that. I am so tired of waiting for it. Like you can sideload it and get a kind of functional version of it, but just get the damn thing on smart TVs. As soon as you do that, you blow up. Done. This next one, I'm actually kind of excited about.
It's finally not a rumor.
Well, I knew this wasn't a rumor when
yeah.
they announced it for the Switch like a year ago. So, just saying, like it was, hey, this is coming to Switch, and everybody was like, yeah, cool, and then they're like, wait, no, that's not a real thing, and they were like, sure.
Mhm.
Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, we are getting a celebration of GTA 3. We're going to get 3, Vice City and San Andreas. Honestly, don't care about 2 of those. 3 is good. It was fun. It was like this is this game. Like this is what Grand Theft Auto is.
It reset the whole genre.
But Vice City for me was just amazing.
Vice City was so much fun. Oh my god.
I never did play San Andreas, but I did watch Snoop Dogg play through it. And I know he plays a character in the game. So when his character gets killed, it was he had a really good reaction to it. But so go check out Snoop Dogg playing GTA. It's a good time. But these are going to be re-released on modern consoles and the PC. Matt, what is a modern console?
So your PS4, PS5, Xbox
That's not
One,
modern anymore.
Series X. It's going to be released on the Switch.
Modern. Definitely modern.
Mobile. It's going to be on mobile apparently.
Why?
So that's modern system. No, this is coming to what appears to be everything for the most part. Last gen and current gen, PC, Switch, mobile. So I love the announcement. Like for a while, we just see rumors upon rumors. It's kind of like Alan
There's
Wake,
so
right? And there was so many rumors about the Alan Wake remaster. Then they finally announced the trilogy here, but that's like all they did. They didn't really show anything. No release date. No news on. They say there's going to be graphical and gameplay improvements, but there's nothing there on to talk on. There was some rumors about all 3 being remade in the Unreal Engine, so they could then visually upgrade it and improve upon it and stuff like that. Nothing. It was almost like, well, shit, we wanted this marketing campaign in a month, but everybody keeps talking about it. So let's just say it exists. And then we'll, who knows when we'll hear about it next. So,
I mean,
which is actually funny because so it got confirmed that the trilogy's real, but nothing else. So now there's rumors about everything else. So it's just, yeah.
It's just free press, right? They're getting free press because they announced nothing, but they announced something at the same time.
Yeah.
So good on them. Use that free press.
And produce Grand Theft Auto 6.
With GTA 6, I am so concerned, having the brainchild left.
Yeah, I know.
What does that look like? What do they do with it?
Aren't they both gone now?
No.
I thought they both left.
No,
I thought the second one.
Or
the other brother's still there.
Is he?
I feel like he recently left. Why am I thinking that?
But like the main guy, he went on hiatus, I think, over the pandemic, and then I think
Sam Houser
I
is still
thought it
there.
was a
found out
fight.
Well, I know some of it too was, I think, we talked about it. Oh God, was that a year ago now? About how Rockstar is going to be, better. They're not going to do the crunched and blah, all that fun stuff. They're going through that kind of studio
uplift,
facelift,
shift,
whatever you want to call it. And then that's whenever the news came out that at least one of them is definitely not coming back.
Yeah, Dan Houser is gone. He left.
Yeah,
Sam Houser's still there. He's still the president of that group.
Then what it was probably news about Dan, because I think he's got his hands in another studio now or something.
What about Doogie?
God damn it! Took me a second.
That
one go over your head, Matt?
Yep, it's no secret that I've really never played any of the Grand Theft Auto games. Like actually played them.
It's not Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Doogie Howser.
Oh, dude. Okay, that Doogie.
NPH. I don't know. You guys gonna pick it up if it is? I mean, it is real, but
I'd like
if it comes out ever.
Controller improvement, gameplay improvements are obvious, but if it looks like a good enough upgrade, yeah, I'll pick it up. They were fun games, especially the second one. Just want to run around the 80s like I'm coked out of my mind again.
Grand Theft Auto 2's not part of this.
Laszlo blaring on the radio, and
another person that's actually left Rockstar.
They
can't make it. Okay, if he's not there, they can't make a sixth one. No,
he's gone.
Never again. After finally putting a face to him in game,
right?
Boo. Sorry, Matt.
I was just gonna say I want to pick these up whenever it is we find out that they're actually coming out. But I guess realistically, if it comes out this year, I'd probably still just wait till next year to pick it up. Too many games in the holidays. The next
so many games.
2.5 months. Yeah.
So many games.
I still haven't picked up Mass Effect Trilogy, and I want to play through those again.
Just beat that finally. Jesus, it took me forever.
Being one of those old guy gamers, I remember Vice City was actually one of the first Grand Theft Auto to be rumored to have sharks in the water if you went in. So that's neat. Chris, excitement, pure joy. Pure joy. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about
the absolute joy?
Finally, some good news about Marvel's Avengers.
Oh,
right?
Whatever. No, they're adding paid boosters after originally telling people there would never be any paid boosters at all. All transactions in the game would be cosmetics only. They're adding boosters to get people to boost their levels, probably because you're playing it through Game Pass. But it's frustrating and kind of a betrayal, considering they did explicitly state we're never going to do this, but at this point, I'm sure they're just like, yeah, we need to be making some kind of money, and we're not making any. How do we do this?
I think if they would have gotten ahead of this a little differently and made the comment like, hey, now that it's moving to Game Pass and that most of you can play it for free, for the Xbox versions, we're going to be putting out these booster packs. You know, if they would have just come out in some nice way, it'd probably be a little better.
But like, I don't think like they could have marketed it that way and you know, got enough people hook, line, and sinker with that. But like realistically, this was a decision probably made before Game Pass. Because this is every system. Mm-hmm. Who knows how long it's going to be on Game Pass? It could be gone in 2-3 months. You know, it could be gone in a year. Microsoft could buy Crystal Dynamics and it stays there forever. You know, we don't know. But yeah, it seems to me like this was a decision made a long time ago, and regardless of them blaming it on being on Game Pass or not, I don't know.
Especially since I feel like there's some pretty easy ways for them to kind of earn some extra cash, like sell special bundles of your outfits. Like, I won't lie, I haven't played that game in forever, but when they announced that I could go get the Captain America Endgame skin, I logged on and used the currency I had earned and bought it. I didn't pay for it,
but that's currency you earned.
But it's the same currency that you buy with actual money.
Right, but they don't make money.
Well, yeah. But I mean, if you did a whole bundle to say get all your Avengers to dress in their Endgame outfit, some people would pay for that. Or someone on Game Pass might pay for it because they would take them forever to earn it. I don't know.
It's not happened with me, but you know, maybe a game like that. I don't know. Destiny's another one that comes to mind. There's probably a ton of examples, right? But if you get these games for free, you're like, why didn't spend 20, 40, 60 bucks? Yeah, I'll go buy this cool pack, this skin, this whatever. You know, I could see people justifying it that way.
Or some old school like comic skins or something like that, because that'd be kind of neat. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's disappointing.
I don't think that the game had enough behind it to really make it something to where people would want to buy all of those skins and replay it with those skins. So I guess maybe if more content comes out, that would be better to do something like that with the skins. But
there is for the PC, or not PC, PlayStation. They'll get their Spider-Man content.
Whenever. But the problem with that is how many PlayStation users are going to get it or wait for like the PS5, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what their upgrade path is, if they have an upgrade path.
Whatever it is, it's probably convoluted.
Yeah.
And expensive.
It does tend to be that way.
Well, I think that's about it for our news part of the conversation. If you are grabbing Monster Hunter on PC, jump in our Discord and let us know that you want to form a party, because maybe we'll pick it up and play, or some of us will. I think there's a couple of us that might end up picking it up on PC, but we'll see.
The group that's been forming on our Discord playing New World has got me thinking about picking that up, but I keep telling myself I'm going to be busy the next 2.5 months with other games in the holidays. I can't pick up another game, especially an MMO. So
yeah, if you are a New World player, Steam is gathering in our Discord for a group of players. So jump on that, come join the New World with them. I think Rich is just started it now that a few people have been coaxing him slowly.
I think as of today, I think it's when he finally broke down and got it.
So, you can go play the Rich and everybody else in the Discord that is all about it. Hopping over, we got a beta, gentlemen.
Woot woot.
Beta. Like Sega, but beta.
I picked up on that.
Battlefield 2042 had a beta starting last Thursday?
I think it was
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Was it Thursday? No, well, it depends. If you had...
When did early access start for pre-orders?
That was Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then Thursday was Game Pass Ultimate?
No, that's the same day. Was pre-orders.
Oh, okay.
It was, if you didn't... The open beta was Friday.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to tool around in the new Battlefield beta, get a feel of what the game is like, understand how it plays. Does it feel like the Battlefield of old? Does it feel like the Battlefield of new? Is it a mixture of both? Did it, get combined in the right ingredients to become the perfect pudding? Who knows? But we're going to talk to you about how we felt. Everything ahead here is our opinions on Battlefield 2042. I have a feeling we might have some very different opinions than each other. If you have any opinions and played it, again, jump into our Discord or leave a comment on the video and let us know what you thought of your time with Battlefield 2042. You guys want to start talking about the feedback after the fact, or do you want to talk about our experiences as players?
I say let's talk about our experiences, because I think it's going to be very, like, the overall, the general experience and thoughts. I think a lot of us share similar opinions, and that seems to be echoed through the community as well. So
I actually did not like Battlefield for quite some time. Bad Company 2 was the last real one I played. Then what was the heist one? Was that Hotline or
Hardline?
yeah.
Hardline? Okay, I played Hardline and
Yeah.
I loved the bank level on Hardline.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. And same thing with the one with all the cars in that little
yeah,
city block.
that was so much
That was
fun.
a ton of fun.
Oh my
And that's the
God.
last Battlefield that I enjoyed. I didn't like 4. I didn't like 5. I didn't like any of that stuff. This one actually, issues aside, gives me hope for a better Battlefield game if they take, people's comments, because they did ask for a survey, as people were playing, to get an idea of how they felt. My first tidbit is I was able to jump out of a helicopter piloted by Rich, sail down in a parachute, hit an ATV Jeep, like a little 2-person, 3-person vehicle with C4, and blow it up as it drove away. And I swooped in down behind it, like into its ashes. Coolest Battlefield moment I've ever had, aside from knifing the entire team camped in a building in Bad Company 2.
I guess I'll just kind of, my background a little bit too is, much like you, Bad Company 2 was the last one I played a ton of. I played a good bit of 3, kind of started falling off. Same thing, 4 fell off a little bit more. Never really played Hardline. Played a little bit of 1. Only recently just played a little bit of 5. But yeah, I've really fallen off. The Battlefield games, just haven't scratched that itch. I had fun this weekend, but I definitely have strong opinions. And personally, I don't think I'll be buying it. So unless a group of you guys, or unless there's a big group of you guys and you
we could peer pressure you into it.
Peer pressure me into it.
We will play it. It'll happen. Like, this is what happened to me with every other Battlefield game. Is I didn't pick it up right away because I was like, I'm not really going to be into it. And then I'd pick it up and everybody stopped playing it. Like, that's how every subsequent Battlefield has gone for me. So just to toss it out there, that's what we're going to do to you, Matt.
I mean, you had a worse experience with Borderlands, though, right? We talked you into buying it.
On the bright side, that cost me like $8 or something like that from, a super sale. So it's honestly, it's sitting unopened. No, it is open because I installed it for a little bit because I thought we were going to play it and we never did. It's sitting in like my 6-year-old's bedroom in the box of Xbox games with the Xbox plugged into his TV. So like, I mean,
that's funny.
Low chance I play it unless we do it on PC or, I buy another Xbox. So it'll sit, but I'll have the game.
Are those all your thoughts about Battlefield, Matt? Or my turn?
Do you have 45 minutes for me to?
Okay. I can give my I'll give my background. I have played Battlefield since the original Battlefield 1942, though I didn't get really into it until Bad Company 1, because on the Xbox 360 it was just a mind-blowing amount of fun. And while I kind of left it for the most part around Battlefield 4, because Battlefield 1 was just kind of I did enjoy Battlefield 5 a bit, even though I'm kind of tired of World War II. And I'll be honest, I kind of enjoyed this one. It's not perfect. It has its flaws, but it's in beta. So I'm kind of with Mike where they have a good foundation. They just need to listen to the advice to make it the way it should be, to make it fun.
I think if EA takes our responses to this and makes a change to the game, that is a huge step for EA in the right direction in general.
Right.
Even like putting out the survey to say, hey, what did you guys think of this? And I think that has to do with the last few being kind of a bomb, and with like Battlefront being a bomb and things like that when they first launched, right? So, I mean, there were a lot of bugs. I would say that, like, if you were in a vehicle and trying to aim anything, flyers didn't seem like it had the problem.
No.
I think it was all mostly ground vehicles when you would like try and like aim down your sights, or even just like aiming left and right, is just your whole heads up like just shook. Like all of your UI was just everywhere.
One of you, who was I was in a tank with one of you guys, or was that Rich? Anyways, I was in a tank with one of our party.
I think it was me.
And I was the secondary gunner, whatever. I don't even remember what gun I had. You were sitting still in the tank. We weren't moving. And I'm just trying to aim at some dudes that are behind us, rocketing us. But it was jumping around so much I could I think I killed one of the 4 guys that were shooting at us. I'm going, well, if this didn't jitter, I could have easily killed all 4 of them and they wouldn't have destroyed our tank. But it's just, yeah, whatever those bugs are with the ground vehicles, similar type situation in the Jeep thingy that had the machine gun in it. Yeah, it just all over the place, but hopefully they have that fixed.
I was gonna say, I feel like that thing is a fairly fixable issue. Because
I wonder if they were trying to add something, like it was just not functioning, like a vibration from the vehicle, and I wonder if that's what was super wonky.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess they're gonna need to find out. They're either it's something to do with the ground terrain not being perfectly even, and somehow that translates to the gunner positions bouncing all up and down, and they'll just have to add some like stabilization to it or something. I don't know. I feel like that should be a fairly straightforward fix.
It's honestly probably already fixed.
Probably,
but hopefully,
it's shipping.
I mean, it's a pretty obvious issue, so yeah, hopefully that we weren't the only ones that would have reported it. But yeah, I mean, there were so many bugs in the beta. It's really, though. I'm gonna jump. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead on it. I'm not gonna even glance at that. Let's get to the meat of what. I mean, Rich had kind of started it out, and I have to sit there and say I agree with him. The specialist thing is stupid.
Yeah, so they're really, that's the big is that probably one of the biggest change in the Battlefield franchise, because was it classes?
It always used to be a class in the past.
Yes, and I thought that was a bad decision, because I mean, what was my biggest complaint as we played together? Like, my rockets were weak. It was so slow to reload them, and I was pissed for a little while, and then I realized, oh, that's because anybody can add rockets, so they probably had to dumb down the rockets to damage and slow down the reload, so that everybody's not just having like in the old Halo days when you just turn rockets only and you just go run around.
Oh my gosh, just explosions everywhere.
So between that and the fact that everybody looked the same was just I wasn't a big fan of the specialist stuff, and
I liked being able to change my loadout the way it was, though.
That I did like, yes.
So cool if everybody has rocket launchers, whatever. I used C5, which is upgraded C4 apparently, and I had a blast being able to do like an assault weapon. So I had the longer range rifle that I could also switch to a different sight, throughout, depending on what my situation was, and still have something like remote explosives that I could use, because previously as an assault you were kind of hosed if you ran into a tank. It was just, you're done. You hide, you run, you do whatever you can until somebody can come blow it up, whether it's another tank, a helicopter, or somebody with that outfit to be able to shoot the rocket and blow it up. I enjoyed that because I think I killed like 3 vehicles full of people, like 3 tanks, not just
I remember seeing those.
not just cars, but I was like hucking things at tanks, run away, blow it up, triple kill every time. Like it was amazing. So
I guess
I like the change.
Yeah,
I guess is what I'm saying.
So I realized I didn't really describe it for people who didn't play the beta because I forget that
Everyone played.
So basically, in this Battlefield game, what happens is you have 4 packages. Well, for the beta, I guess we don't know what the final game's going to have, but there were 4 packages you choose from that kind of center around the same thing as a class. But instead of focusing on having like a special weapon, it's you have some special abilities. So you have an assault package that gives you a weird little grappling hook, which I'm not going to lie, I loved it. I played with it all the time. You have an engineer that has a turret that I never really got to do much of anything.
Was that the puppy turret?
Yeah. No, that's
thing.
separate. That's something you call
never
it.
mind.
And we'll talk about that thing. You have the medic that has basically like a little dart gun that they can shoot people and heal them from some type of distance. And you have the recon, which has a little drone you could fly and spot people. So your whole team could see where people are. Other than that, you can swap whatever you want out on your class. You can have any weapon, any equipment you want, which overall I like it, but I feel like the rocket should be left as a package deal, not as a weapon people just can have, because it kind of throws off, as Matt says, it kind of throws off the balance of the game a little bit, because now rockets are just kind of not unique anymore, and anyone could just run around with them, and they don't do jack. It took 5 rockets for me to blow up a tank, which is insane. It shouldn't take that in Battlefield. 2 maybe, but 5?
That's really sad because I threw like three little packs of C4 on it.
I saw that.
Ran away and it just exploded. Like it didn't take a whole lot.
No. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that I would like to see. Like it's a tough change to make, but I would like to see it go closer back to what it was. Which I hate being that person that old fogey that says, no, I like it the way it was, but this, it doesn't seem balanced yet.
Well, I think
I want 2 sugars in my McDonald's coffee, not 3. Don't you put that creamer in there?
I feel so old right now.
I think the downside to the specialist is obviously if we all get it and we all play together, we'd probably work together and realize like of fall back into those roles. But now, like if you're just jumping in with randoms or you don't want that unit cohesion with your friends, like there's the few people that matters to, they can't really kind of see and go, okay, well, everybody's going this type of class, we need one of these, or kind of adjust towards those situations. Because like if we wanted to take out a tank with rockets, we'd literally all have like four of us would have to switch over to rockets and go hunt that tank. There's not that like, hey, we got a tank down there, can I don't even remember, was it the engineer that had rockets? It's been so long since I played.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, okay, who's our engineer?
Yep.
I'm gonna try not to make a lot of these comparisons, but since I play a lot and everybody knows I play a lot, like it's like Hell Let Loose. You have those classes, right? Nobody's going, oh, how do you take out this tank? It's like, who's the AT guy on our team, or can somebody switch to it to go take out this tiger, or whatever, right?
Well, and that's what Battlefield used to be.
Yeah,
this is a dramatic change.
Mm-hmm. So I think that would benefit from, even if there's a happy medium that you can kind of have a little bit of both. Like you said, maybe restrict some of the weapons so that you don't have, again, rockets are probably going to be my best example here, so I'm going to sound like a broken record, but that they don't have to basically dumb down the damage and up the reload speed just so you're not slinging rockets all the time, and that you have armies and squads just coming in, just, rocket launchers.
Could you rocket launcher infantry, or was it target lock?
Yeah, but see, that was the other thing is I don't
a rocket
think
you can just launch.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. The rocket you just no lock on, you just launch. There was
an AA one.
An AA one, which again took forever to lock on, and it felt like by the time it locked on and I shot, I reloaded. Sorry, the reload was literally just throwing it to the ground.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Another one. But by the time you lock on again, I don't know how fast the countermeasures, reload, but I'd fire at the same thing and they would just shoot the countermeasures again. I'm like, well, why am I carrying this around? I can't hit them. So, but yeah, the rockets, just the regular rockets that you can't track. Those also, I don't think had those weren't just bad against vehicles. They were bad against those turrets and bad against the doggy things. And there wasn't a very big blast radius. So there were times I shot kind of wildly at somebody, in the bushes. And if I didn't hit him directly, I wouldn't kill him. It would just land next to him. And right. So again, rockets were just overall bad. So that's just a balancing thing. So that could be easily adjusted. But
actually, it's something just dawned on me. It is actually a recoilless rifle. It is not a rocket. It's an unguided, just basically a huge bullet. And that's probably why it's super ineffective against infantry, because it's not really designed to kill them. It's designed to pierce the armor of tanks and blow them up. But again, you're still stuck firing.
So, Mike, we're running together next time. You're slapping some C5 to the front of that little projectile, and then we're going to
send it in.
Yeah.
I almost got him. But it laser beamed me to death. I did try and bait in a dog to a pile of C4. Like I just C4'd the ground and like backed off until it started like chasing. And no, it just laser beamed me from a half a mile away.
Those things had range.
Before we jump into the dogs, just a thing, if they were rocket launchers and not like a slug that was meant to go through things, I wouldn't mind if they were as powerful as they should be either. If everybody's spamming rockets, then everybody spams rockets. Oh, well, I don't think that's a big deal in the game. I think that's fine because I could still sit there, take the assault rifle, the MX8 or whatever it was, MB EO3. I could sit back far enough with an ACOG and pick somebody out that was running by. I didn't have to be in their rocketable scope, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I think would be interesting is how many parachuters raining death with rockets would there be, right? Like that could be really fun.
I did do that a couple of times. Nice. That was fun. But yeah,
so it's just I think they could have them at that full power level, and the game would still be balanced well enough because it's such a big map.
Real quick before we do move on to the doggies, something we should probably mention. We all played on PC, correct?
I played on both.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
similar experience on console?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we're all kind of talking on the same page.
Yeah.
So, we didn't get much variety there. Chris did, but
well, the reason for it is that the cross play was enabled to a point, but you couldn't actually play with your friends cross play. It was they would fill the room or the server with different types of people playing the game. So,
which is a limitation of just the beta. That should be
hope.
As of right now, they have said that that's was a limitation for the beta. Hopefully, that does not carry over to the full game. That would suck.
So the bane of Matt's existence, accuracy.
Oh yeah.
And these puppy drones.
Fucking puppy drones.
So I was on C2. Remember that kind of little tower area, not up by the little gas ball things?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was up I think midway up the building in C2. Down at C1, it was probably right in line, or maybe it was probably right in line with the first set of those ball things that if they blew up a little bit, everybody
frozen
froze.
Nitrogen.
But on the road, I was getting shot from there by a dog up to me in the tower. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I can understand a person because they see me and they're gonna try.
Right.
But a dog ignoring everything else around it just to see me and shoot at me up here on this tower.
I will say that,
and it was pretty accurate.
I will say that my Malinois will often pick out squirrels and trees. So maybe there's a correlation of dog sees thing in tree, wants to
saw a bunch of nuts in my mouth and got excited.
Squirrel! I just started shooting.
But, I mean,
Those things were disgusting.
They were.
They were so overpowered. They're so OP. It was so bad.
If you didn't have something super explosive, you couldn't take care of it either.
No way.
It was just you're done skis. Good luck. Run away. Maybe hide. Hope it can't smell you.
Yeah. Yeah, your gun can't kill it, so that's not going to work.
Nope.
Yeah, it's broken record here. I'd hit it directly with a rocket projectile, whatever you want to call it. I had a dude and a dog running next to each other. I shot at the feet, did like 0 damage to the dog and killed the dude. And then I was like, then he kept running, so I hit the dog directly. I think it went down by like 1/5 health, maybe. Maybe.
Oh, so it's built like the tank. That's great.
Do those things persist when the operator expires?
I think they do, because I don't think the one I called in. Well, okay, so the game tries to introduce for our listeners. The game tries to introduce something that's kind of like Call of Duty's score streaks or kill streaks or whatever they're called now.
Yep.
But there's no like guiding force other than a cap number. I didn't see anything that prevents you from calling more in. I think there's something like if you're at a certain point or you don't have something, you can't do it. But at a random point in the fight, I hit the button combo. I think it was left and right bumper, and was able to call in a robot dog, and it just dropped. So I know it said there was a limit for how many could be on our side. But other
like
than that,
50.
Yeah, it felt that way by the end of that last match.
The same thing with helicopters, though. Like the amount of helicopters in the air in this one was crazy. And that's why I feel like the rockets wouldn't matter if they had enough, just because of the amount of like airborne artillery was ridiculous.
I miss having like anti-aircraft guns on the ground that you could jump into and try to take them down yourself.
No, it was to answer your question, Mike. Yeah, I called in a dog. One of the very few times I remembered to use whatever that ability was, where you could call. It was kind of cool. You could call in. Could you call in anything larger than the Jeep things?
I don't think
that was
so.
kind of cool. You could say, "Hey, drop me a Jeep right here," or whatever other things. One of them was the dog, and I dropped in a dog, and it died like 2 seconds after it landed. It was running around, and I spawned back on the squad that was still there. I think it was on the A point, and he was still running around. Or my story of blowing up the dude, and they were running side by side. That dog stuck around and ended up killing me. So, yeah, they'll persist after the owner has died. But
that's garbage. I just throw those things are so damn overpowered that it's
really bad.
I gave as soon as I saw one, I gave up. I was like, well, if it sees me, I'm dead. I'm gonna run the complete. I don't care if I have to go help out my team or anything. I am just going to walk away from it and hope it scampers on to like the other side of the map. Like go get him, boy. Like
I mean, talking of stuff that was kind of very bullet spongy. Those which class was it that could drop the turrets?
Engineer.
The engineer. Those turrets were pretty strong too. Yep. There were multiple times where
to kill anything.
I never actually used
Oh, you mean to destroy it?
Because I was only ever the grappling hook dude to destroy it, because I'd empty clip after clip into it, throw grenades, again, bitch about this rocket launcher again, hit it with the rocket launcher thingy majig, projectile launcher, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It had to explode because it created a big crater. So it's got to have some
recoilless rifles do have some explosive impact to them. That's just not the same as a rocket.
But like the turret I was able to kill a couple of them, but it definitely took forever. It wasn't as bad as the dogs, but it was bad. So, I mean, you don't want these things weak, but if I'm sitting there and it takes me longer to drop, I can drop a couple grenades and a couple clips into it to kill it. It's just, that's too much, especially for...
You need like a whole squad to throw grenades at it just to get it. Like it's kind of ridiculous. And the fact, like, you can't even go C4 it because it's going to sniff you out and put you down, right? I didn't even know that you could do things with each of the classes. I had no idea. So I never called in anything.
Super straightforward.
not really well spelled out at all.
No.
The other
Well,
part,
the medic was useless.
oh no, you had a little shooter gun. You could like heal people from afar.
I see.
I wanted to. I
assume
wanted
Mike
to.
ran around with it.
I originally was like,
I was like, boop, boop.
I wanted to run around and use it to instantly revive people.
Oh no, that's not what it's for.
But that's no. So that was the first and last time I used medic.
With reviving people, anybody could do it, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell did so many people leave you to die?
I don't know.
Like,
It's so
like
I don't,
when your
because I
team,
don't think
when your
people
team
knew.
cleared, your team would clear a site, and you're sitting there like, because you can press the button to request help.
Yeah.
And they just run by you, like they're going to the next objective, which is being taken over, sure, but pick up the guy next to you, save a ticket, like what the heck, people, like they
Well,
just leave you to die.
I was one of those people because I would just get pissed and hold the space bar. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
plus
the
it was
button wasn't obvious. I don't feel like it wasn't crystal clear to hold
But
whatever
if you got
X or whatever.
if you got close to them, it told
But-
you to do it.
yeah.
You had to be really close.
There was that was one thing I noticed about the beta. There was the few things you could interact with. You had to be right up on it.
Mhm.
Like
Yep.
if you weren't
Yep.
looking directly at the little lines that you could kind of zip line up or down,
You had to be right there.
you had
Yep.
to be right on it. Same thing with the other thing I didn't like about healing. Again, you don't want people to just probably use a dart gun and revive everybody. But I also like the few times I went to save somebody, and this was for multiple things in the game. Broken record here. Rocket launcher was one of them. But the revive, the paddles was another one. Literally takes you for fucking ever to get down. You kneel down to the person and you pull out the paddles. And you're like, and then you heal him. Like, so most of the time I didn't even try.
But if you look at it,
we were in
it's
a
a
fire,
timer.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the whole thing, I played medic a lot in a lot of the Battlefield games, and when you're bringing someone back to life, it's not the fastest thing in the world. Even when it was like the Inject-A-Pen, like when you'd EpiPen them, you would still run up and you'd grab them and kind of pick them up and be like, "Hey, buddy, you're gonna be okay." And then you'd stick them, and then you'd press it, and then you'd pull it out. And as like the other player could get up and run, but you're still doing like you're finishing out your animation on putting out like the switching out your cartridge on the Epi, right? So it's still a pretty long process. Maybe you just need to heal your buddies a little more since you're used to it.
It just between pulling out the paddles and trying to get them up, and then being somebody that got revived, taking that 30-minute animation to stand back up. To me, it was useless if there was a firefight going on.
Yep.
Because I'm going to get shot and die. If I'm lucky enough to get you revived, you're going to be stuck in your animation standing up. I'm going to be coming out of my animation. We're probably both going to die anyways. To your point, though, being in
place to revive somebody.
But to your point, when you're in a safe space, you should be reviving your friends.
I think maybe it's just that Matt doesn't like being revived thing. Because in Hell Let Loose, like I have been like a meter from you crawling and about to poke you with it, and you're like, "I'm gonna respawn." I'm like, "No, Matt, no, I was right there." And you're like, "Oh, well, whatever. This is faster." I'm like, "Okay." So maybe it's just you and medics. Like it doesn't jive in these shooters.
Matt just doesn't trust medics.
I don't like needles.
At least in Hell Let Loose, they give you a proximity of your closest medics, so you can kind of gauge.
They used to do that in Battlefield too.
But you don't.
But they don't have to.
Oh yeah,
because everybody can.
Yeah.
But so, that's everybody around you can just heal you.
But in Hell Let Loose, that's the first thing I look for when I die. Right? Is somebody within 40 meters up from me? Because anything farther, they're probably not going to go out of their way to come get me, unless we're really trying to hold a point or capture a point or something. It's like we do need those bodies there. So it's like, okay, there's somebody 40. I hit V and I'm like, no. And then some of the really good medics are just like, give me a second. I'm getting the 8 other guys that are down here. But in Battlefield, when you go down, there's nothing going. Oh, because there's no medic class, right? Everybody can revive, right? So, there's no indication of like, oh, somebody's really close to me and that, let me yell over to him to come get me. Mike, you were the medic, but it's not like you ever said, "Hey, Matt, coming for you."
I multiple times said, "Stay there." And you were like, "No, this is faster." Legitimately I heard from Chris too. You said, "Oh, it's just faster to get back
Yep.
up this way."
It
And
is.
You also said
And safer.
it might cost us a
Tickets.
ticket or two, but whatever. Like you can't tell me that I didn't come for you. Or I didn't communicate. You explicitly communicated the opposite effect. Like, no.
Well, again, because I didn't want you to risk your life for the 30-minute animation and then have my 30-minute animation to stand back up.
Well, I mean,
I will
what
also- let
usually
me throw this
happened
out.
is
I
I was
should-
able to. So what happened is we'd be running, you would start shooting at a guy, you'd get gunned down, I'd clear the chaff, and then go to revive you because we're in the clear. You were like, fuck it. So I don't know.
I should have threw this back in with my history of Battlefield. I haven't been terribly good at Battlefield since Bad Company 2. I was okay with 3 and 4. I was definitely bad at this weekend. I was not good. So
Bad company.
I will throw that out there. But
Oh boy. Oh.
It's all right. One of the other things that really bugged me, like going back to everybody looking kind of the same, like having a similar view. The identification system for good or bad was like a bubble field of like a color outline of what they were. Kind of like what we talked about with Halo. It really easily identifies somebody out in like cover and things like that. With a ghillie suit, you should be able to lay there pretty sneakily in the grass and not be easily seen. But if somebody's just scanning the area, like a tank or like a helicopter or a person, they can pick you out because it'll put that little like red around you. But I also got killed by blue. So it wasn't necessarily detecting, in my opinion, friend or foe all that well, because I walked up to a guy, he was completely blue. I walked up to him and backed him up on trying to retake so if you're looking from C2 down down to C1, if you look to the right, was that D or was that A?
that would have been
A.
F?
I thought that was A.
It was that little like
coming
gas
out of
station building
the
with
US spawn.
Yeah.
The US spawn area. I thought it was F. Anyways, but I know what point. I know what point you're talking about.
So that spot, like I went to go back up a buddy, and it turns out the dude turned around and shot me, and I was like, what? Oh, I see. You were a bad guy who just looked like grandma, but was taking over, not helping capture back. But it showed the blue outline as in friendly. So I feel like that needs to get fixed hardcore as well.
Well, it was either like they really stood out as they were the bad guys, or there was nothing that differentiated them from your guys. Like the first time I loaded up a match and started playing, I swore this guy I came up to was an enemy and poured like 2 whole clips into him before I realized, oh wait,
that's Matt.
I could see he's one of my teammates.
This was a huge problem with the beta. Is even when it marked things, it was slow. There were so many times I'd run around a corner or be sitting there and somebody would run in front of me. And since everybody, hopefully this is different in the final game, it was the Russians and US, I think, were the 2 teams you played as. Your characters all looked, you had the four models to pick from. They looked the same on either side. So I was always on my toes when something would run by. I would just later in the beta, I would just start shooting because there was such a delay on adding a blue or red dot. And since there was no visual indication that, oh, this is a US player or this is a Russian player, you had no clue if it was a friend or foe. And it was a huge problem, I think, and a bad sign. Hopefully whatever they do, that's fixed by the time it releases, because that's just, I don't know, having a system that's that bad where everybody looks the same and your markings, your friend or foe markings are slow to pop up. It's just bad. It's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think they can easily solve it with just different character models for the different operators. And I, for one, am really going to push for like what I picture to be the quintessential like babushka on the Russian side. Like I want like a little hooded figure with a sweet ass machine gun. That would be so cool. Like I would absolutely run that class every time. But like an old military babushka. That would be great in my opinion. But I think they can easily fix it just by saying, hey, this is a different character model. You know that like tied up ponytail grandma is the American grandma, and super awesome badass babushka is, you know, Russian grandma, right? Just my thoughts. I think that would be a super easy fix for that whole thing. You don't need the outlines then. You don't need the, you know, because you can just tell, oh, I'm American this time. I'm hunting babushkas. I'm going to say that word as many times as I can.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be looking through a spotter scope and not able to identify that even without, you shouldn't need a color to tell you that's an enemy.
Yeah.
You should be able to say, oh, I know that model. That's the bad guy. I'm going to shoot him. I mean, I get it.
It's not like the scopes are too fuzzy anymore, right?
And it's not, I get it. Call of Duty has been kind of successful with their whole operator system for Warzone, but this isn't the same kind of game. This isn't 150 people in a million different teams going head to head. This is two sides and that's it. So the specialist system doesn't really work in a battlefield environment. Shocker.
Agreed. Totally.
What'd you guys think of the map itself? We only got to play one map in the beta. That was Orbital, which is like a little, I believe it was a Russian rocket being launched in the
looked like
on the side.
Looked like Cape Kennedy, kind of like modeled after, right? Cape.
Yeah, Cape.
Right?
Yeah, Kennedy is.
That's
yeah.
NASA down there because they had a big shuttle type building, you know. And
I mean, it was
obviously a rocket
definitely
launcher.
tropical, but I see what you're saying, but I felt like it. I felt like it was Russian to me.
I felt it was kind of based off that, but maybe they. I mean, you know, could be Russian themed, but I thought it was a fun map. It felt. It's been a long time since I've really played a Battlefield, so it felt rather open.
Yeah, it's still a Battlefield.
I think that
I missed
on
the
where you
destruction. The destruction didn't seem as crazy.
That's definitely a note. Is there were only a handful of buildings that were really destructible.
It didn't fall, but the walls would go out, like on. Like F or A, whatever that was, the walls would blow out. On D, whatever was next, the opposite side of C, that building blew out pretty well. But they can't blow up like those two major buildings.
No,
like
I think
the
that'd
tower
be
on the
cool.
one side.
Well, you can blow up the rocket. I kept trying to do it and didn't succeed, but apparently I've seen video of people blowing up that rocket before it launches.
Wonder what you have to put into it.
I don't know.
Probably just sit there with a tank the whole match,
or get a helicopter and just
watch. It's like a 2-hit kill with my recoilless rocket, right?
Oh, that's what it's meant for.
Can't kill anything, but it will kill this rocket in 2 shots.
You just have to hit it in the right spot.
If you hit the very tip of it, it's a 1-hit kill. It's kind of like
just the tip.
Yeah,
but just the tip.
No, I just again, I just felt like there was even more destruction in Bad Company too. Again, I'm probably misremembering.
No, you're not. You're not misremembering. It's just there were more dense building packed maps that we got to see that destruction, because the handful of building, the smaller, like, what are they, like 2-level buildings or whatever that were all over the place, you could blow the crap out of those buildings. It's really just that those taller buildings you couldn't, because the tower down on C2, you couldn't do anything to that.
Yep.
And then the assembly buildings you couldn't blow up either.
But I think some of that was level design because you had the flag on some of those pieces, like up and above, so you couldn't tear that down. Maybe with future maps, we'll have more destructibility and more environmental.
I'm gonna guess that's the way it'll
to
go.
Do things.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I think Rich, correct me if I'm wrong with you guys, I think Rich was the only one that got to play in a tornado.
Yeah.
We didn't get
desperately wish I could, but
I saw one coming, but it moved
ended
very slow and the game ended.
I got to see a lot of rain. I never saw the tornado.
I don't know that I ever got weather. It was just pretty much clear skies, ready to die.
Yeah, it got dark one map that we were all playing together, but it never even got to rain on that map.
Interesting. I don't remember it getting dark. Oh no, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. It was okay.
But the map itself was bigger than playing something like I was playing Halo the week before. Again, spoiled, but since I've been playing so much Hell Let Loose the last couple months, it definitely felt small. But again, different type of gameplay trying
Yeah.
to be played out there. So you obviously don't want those massive maps like that.
I didn't mind the size. I thought it was a good size. And to your comment on like it being really open, I think it depended on the way you went because there were different routes that were far. Like once you get to the space camp area, yeah, that's wide open. That's going to be by design. They're not going to put like a park or like trees and things to like obscure your view where the rocket is taking off. But I felt like getting up to C and getting up to the one next to it, it was a pretty like dense to open ratio. Like for some moments you were able to sit and cover and like in the woods a little bit, but then to get to the objective you'd have to get through a clearing unless you wanted to go a little bit of a roundabout way and get through the trees and through the brush up through the back of it, right? And the other part is coming up over C when you got into that like flat area with like the rocky cliffside that led down to the camp,
Yeah.
or to the space tower or whatever. I thought that was magnificent. That was a beautiful area too, because you had people coming up over the rocky edge because there were boulders big enough to like obscure, and then you had people coming through the woods, and it was just you'd often meet up, and there's just this lane of oh crap, I got to get back under cover or I got to move, or I have to be really good at shooting to take them out before they take me out. So it's just one of those. I liked the amount of cover and I liked the amount of like lack of cover. I don't feel like I was ever just out in the open, totally hosed. I felt like I had a good lane anywhere I needed to get to, except that building in the middle, um, like right in between, it was like the very center. Like C was here, and then A with that big tower was on the opposite side. There's that one building in the center with like that. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
I think it was D2.
I was gonna say.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a pain in the ass to get to that spot. I'll tell you that. So no, I liked it. I don't think it was too big, and I don't think it was too open. It was the signs that potentially other maps will have some good design as well.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just giant ass space camp.
I was hoping I could find an overhead view of that map, but I can't find it. But oh well.
Oh, if you do, you can probably throw it in the video, like overlay or something, and in post, we'll just fix that in post.
Except for the audio people.
Any big issues that you ran into besides the shaky guns? Any crashes? Any breakdowns? I'll say network maybe.
I was gonna say
we talk about,
which I mean, like realistically, that's such a stereotypical Battlefield issue that I was kind of expecting it. It's like if I don't have server issues, it's not a Battlefield game.
Agreed.
So
I couldn't connect like for the first.
Yeah, the first few nights it was murder.
Yeah.
But that last night we didn't seem to have too many issues with the connections at all.
No, I don't think I ever got booted or anything like that.
It was
no crashes.
And maybe this is because it was the beta. It was a little weird that it dumped you all the way back to the main screen with your party once the match was over. And again, I'm guessing it's a beta thing because it's not like you really have progression that matters.
Right.
Which I'm still intrigued to know what the progression will actually do when we get to it. I'm assuming unlock new weapons, but we don't really know a whole lot about that yet.
Mm-hmm.
For a game that's coming out next month.
Well, I mean, that's okay not to know it. You'll get into it when, if you buy it and pick it up and play it. I think the biggest network, or at least connecting issue that I saw was Matt's bullets connecting with the bad guys.
There was a big issue there.
I don't think that was just accuracy as much as like I'm going to poke at that. But I did think that there were some occasions where you'd start shooting something and you're like, okay, why aren't these even registering? There's no way I'm missing the dude standing still 60 feet away and I've got a scope on him and I'm like just tapping the trigger. I'm not like full auto. I'm not going crazy. I do think that there was a little bit of hit detection issues, and I think that scaled into not just like small arms fire, but when you're shooting at helicopters and things like that too. I felt like there was, from a vehicle, not just like shooting a pistol, not Tom Hanks at the end of Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. It was you get into a vehicle that's designed for anti-air, and you're shooting ahead of it, and you see like one or two hit, so you're on the right line, and it should, like, you're putting a stream straight across that same line, and like the first two hit, and then it's running through all the rest of the shots, and it doesn't hit. So I think there was more to it, and I don't know if that was just connectivity or if that was bug issues, but I feel like it might have been networky in general. Like there might have been stutters or something, like, I don't know.
I'm gonna blame more my issues on my lack of skill in the game. Well, let me put it this way: it was easier to notice the damage inconsistencies in the Halo flight. So if there were some here, I didn't really notice them. I mean, every now and then I felt like, okay, I feel like I should have killed that guy. Right? If he's running away from me and I'm shooting center mass, hitting him, and we're not like super far away. There was a couple of these scenarios where it's like, and then he'd 180 and shoot me in like 2 bullets. Again, that could be skill, that could be cheaters, that could be a number of things, but it was easier for me to put my finger on it with the Halo flights than it was any issues here. Again, there was some oddballs here and there where I was like, I felt like I hit that guy, or I should have won that battle, but again, that I chalked most of that up to my just skill level, which was not great. I'll admit it. I was not great.
It's fine to admit. I'm not good at hell let loose.
Yeah. So, I guess there wasn't really any specific issues other than, some of the balance and little complaints I've already had. But the biggest thing that kind of worried me was, this is a beta that was supposed to launch of a game, supposed to originally launch, I think, in like a week or 2.
10 days.
Before they bumped it back 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is now. I think it's the 19th of next month.
Yeah.
And it's a beta. I feel it's a little like there was just too many issues, I feel, for a beta of a game that's coming out in a month. Again, you can say beta, but like some of the issues they had, I'm just like, how are you this late in the game? And this is like the jittery vehicles. How is that an issue? Once or twice, maybe 9 times out of 10 it works fine, and that 10th time you hop in but every time, some of these hit registration things, some, all, like the little complaints we've talked about, it's like, how is this a month away? And it just doesn't feel polished. I mean, heck, even we haven't talked about this much. The in-game UI, like, I thought was not that great. Like, is that really your final design for some of those things? Like, really, that big bar that pops down whenever you're capturing or losing a point, there's just a lot of, to me, a lack of polish and issues that shouldn't be again, it's a beta, so some things you can excuse, but to me, there was too much for a beta of a game launching in a month that was originally supposed to launch in 10 days.
What bar? I mean, when you're capturing, it should be the icon of the base, and that's...
I forget what the I started ignoring them. Right? There was a blue or red bar that would pop down on the top of your screen and give you a message. And it happened. I think it was when you were losing other points.
You're talking about.
Yeah,
it was there. I'll find a picture. I'll
share yeah, please do. I want to see what this says, because I don't recall this.
Yeah. But
you're okay. Not while you're capping a point, but if you like lost points, like
you're losing points,
it would come down as like a. Okay, I did see that. I didn't think it was super intrusive. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably just what you're used to, if you more so than anything else.
You're a AAA game, and you're doing that.
If it's what Battlefield's been doing, I mean, since I cannot think of what you're actually talking about, like I honestly, I'll need an image to figure this out. It must be something that's so just part of what the Battlefield system is that my brain just doesn't categorize it as anything
I
more
think
than
this is replacing that whole, and I think it was Battlefield that used to do it. Like over the comms, you would hear "We're losing Alpha" or something like that.
definitely
Or
used to say that. I think
yeah.
I heard audio for it this time too.
Okay, so maybe it was, but there was a little drop down that would come down at like the top of the screen that would show you like the progression of where it was at. So it was like going from blue to red or red to blue.
Regardless of UI, am I the
Sure.
only one that's off on this that feels that the state of the beta of a game coming out in a month just it doesn't give me a good feeling about the launch of the game? Especially, we could even just narrow it down to the balancing of this, or just the specialists in general. I know we started talking a little bit on Discord, but like that's not a fix it in a month.
Not ready.
Well, there was a little bit of both with all the
Sure.
issues and the bad design.
So bad design, you can't really be like, really, this is it? Like, this is a bad game? Yep, it's bad design. I'll get that. But if they're trying to change the design to be something different and experiment with it, you know, maybe they got a focus group that said, this is pretty cool, and they just went with it, right? But as far as like the bugs and the issues, Battlefield has always been network buggy since I started playing them on like the Xbox, right? You always kind of had some of that to begin with. It would smooth out after a little while. They'd figure it out and they'd smooth out and less issues. They weren't ever gone, but there's less issues. So something like Battlefield, I expect to have a little bit of network issues. Stuff with like the weapons on the vehicles, you know, that could have been something that showed up in that build, right? They did something, they adjusted something, and now it's on that build, and they felt like, hey, this isn't big enough for us to say, don't put this as the beta build. We'll deal with it as it comes. It's a huge thing. But at the same time, you know, maybe they've already looked at it and been like, yeah, we know this is happening. It's going to be fixed. So if you remember, you know, working through Activision bugs, there were some pretty big issues that they would wait until almost launch to fix. And then it was a day one patch, right? So I do remember with Advanced Warfare, there were some huge issues that, and I can't like talk about them, but you know, they were patched.
Your NDA's got to be over by now, right?
I hope so, but I'm not going to tempt fate.
Yeah, right. Why risk that?
You know, there were some large issues that had to be solved before, like we found some game-breaking crashes that if you had enough people do their kill streak at once, the whole server just dumped and you couldn't connect again for hours. It was interesting. You know, but
I should make a note. A community manager from EA came out and did say early last week that the beta build was already a few months old. So it is not what the state of the game is at.
It was a few weeks old.
No, I have the tweet. It's a few months. I'll toss it up if you guys want.
I thought he said it wasn't a few months, that it was a couple weeks.
I think there's some... I felt like that was damage control.
But, the tweet came out before the beta came out. Damage control before the game comes out?
Yes. I believe it was.
Okay.
Personal opinion.
That's fine. You have that opinion.
To me, this would have... I would have been able to excuse most of this stuff if DICE did something similar to 343 and caught it like a technical flight. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm wrong. Betas were never perfect in any of the games. They're never meant to be. They're supposed to be a slice of the game for you to experience and help you decide if you want to purchase the full game. You know, betas, I think in recent years with online have kind of also shifted to the let's make sure the servers work kind of. But usually they're still in a mostly polished state. Again, maybe I expect too much of studios anymore. I don't know.
It might be the case.
Maybe that's it. I mean, we live in a day and age now where there are too many games where just put it out, we'll fix it after launch. And unfortunately, people have been okay with that. And that's why they do things like that. But this just to me, if this is a beta, again, now I'm broken record on this. Beta coming in a month of a game coming in a month, to me, it should be in a much better state than it was this weekend, in a much more finished feeling to it.
So one, looking at a game that's coming out in 2 months, I feel like it should have a lot more finish than it does as well. Just to throw Halo under the same bus.
Oh no, I'm still worried about that.
It's going to be. I think both of these are going to be an issue. To clarify my point earlier, Chris, it looks like there was an inside source at EA that saying that it wasn't months old, that it was cut recently.
Oh.
And then some people from DICE reached out and said, no, this is like a mid-August build. So there's claims, within like the development team that, hey, this isn't actually going as well as we are pretending it is, and that there are issues with the game still.
So we're kind of leaving our opinion side and moving on to some information that's come out after the beta here.
Other people's opinions.
Yeah, to other people's opinions. But I mean, yeah, that's where I think we run into the issues of the specialist. It sounds like that was pushed by the C-level people, because they wanted it to be more like COD, because COD has been successful with that. So
it's not like Battlefield hasn't been successful, so it's kind of weird, like why they would do that.
I think they're trying to try something new.
I mean, the C-level over at EA has, as we well know, has had their hands in game design when they shouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
From the multiple BioWare games and other games that that have come out that have just been bad. So
they got to learn at that level. They need to be strategic. What games, what type of games do we want to make? Not how does it function?
Mm-hmm.
What is what are the controls? How does it play? Things like that. You can give your feedback on, like, if you hate the game after it's come out, or after you get your first hands on a test, if you want to be at that level to try it and make sure that it's meeting, your strategic vision. But to get in there and make micromanagement changes and say, no, this has to operate like we haven't done it before because somebody else is doing it successfully, that's too much.
Yeah, just copying how somebody else successful does it doesn't mean you're going to make the same amount of money.
Nope.
So
each snowflake is different.
I thought they proved that to not be true.
I'm going to call BS on that one.
That's where they found
and it. Google it at the same time.
Yeah, feel free. I mean, we could carry on to the actual news while you do it, though. Okay, fine. As we carry
so
in.
I think so. Here, wait.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think that a snowflake could have an identical counterpart at some point. Like, how many bazillions of snowflakes are there, right? Like, just in Minnesota alone. But it's highly unlikely that they will be completely identical. However, they could start with identical crystals, but not actually turn into the same snowflake themselves.
Will you guys be picking up Battlefield next month?
Not next month, but in the future. I will give it.
I might pick it up in the future, because hot take, I'm going to call it now. I did it in our Discord. This is getting delayed to next year.
I don't think it will.
And maybe when it's all polished and nice, maybe I'll pick it up.
I don't think they will, because they've never delayed for this kind of stuff.
Nope.
And they need to beat Halo to market. It has to beat Halo to the multiplayer scene, or it's not going to get picked up.
Mike, your hot take for Halo's it's getting delayed to next year, so they're both going to be fighting it out early spring.
But that's not necessarily widely known, right? EA may not, even though they work together.
They just need to listen to our podcast and they know all the news.
You'll be fine. Listen to us. We'll tell you all the real. No, I don't think that they do that with this game, because they have had so many other games that come out and just get dumped on, and people are like, why you make games, EA, right? But they still pick them up, they still play them, and they'll play them until they're fixed, and then they keep on playing them.
Mm-hmm.
They've never had a problem with sales because of it. Aside from, I think Battlefront may have had an issue with the whole microtransaction sales, but a lot of people still bought the game.
And it got significantly better after they did away with that model. It is such a good game right now.
So if you give them some time, I think that they'll just keep patching it until it is what everybody is expecting. And I don't think that that's a bad thing necessarily, because I do like iterations on things. You make it better as you go, and get feedback to make it better, which ties into a little bit. They've sent out this survey for everybody to say, hey, how do you feel about the beta? Give us some pieces, give us some information. How do we make this better for you? I think they still release and then make those changes as the game is out.
More power to people that want to continue to fund that type of behavior, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, how is it different from a game that does early access like Hell Let Loose? It was in early access for years before it became a full release. Oh yeah,
come on, Chris.
I went there.
What are the 2 early access games I've bought?
Hell Let Loose and that game that I stopped playing instantly.
Phasmophobia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
3.
no.
You're right, 3. Valheim.
Valheim. Yeah, right. You
Valheim.
instantly stop a lot of games, Mike. I need more than just.
Well, I don't really instantly stop. Like if it's not my cup of tea, I know it pretty quick.
Yeah, of course.
And
and that's fine. That's not a criticism. It's just it's just the way it is.
So my point there is that
to that really quick, Chris, I went to go play Super Metroid, and because it took so long to get through the opening cutscenes, I was like, I got kids. I ain't got time for cutscenes to take this long.
Make them
have to read
skippable,
it.
damn it. Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Matt.
No, I was just gonna say, up until those 3 games, which you guys, peer pressured me into really well.
I'm the reason. You're the reason I bought all 3 of those games. Rich gave me one, but the other 2.
That's right, Rich did.
But there's already even been a couple other games you guys have tried, and I'm like, no, I'm not making it a habit to buy early access games, because I don't believe in that model unless it's from potentially a studio that I know and trust. Right? There's just too many bad scenarios out there, and I'm not going to fund that behavior. So, there's going to be some gems. Maybe there's some things I miss out on. And that's just me. If you love buying early access games, there is something to be said about being in early in the groundwork and being able to provide that feedback and help shape the game. I guess where I'm definitely a stick in the mud is I won't do that for AAA.
All games evolve. So
yeah,
I'm on board.
Do you want to know how to avoid that for real though, Matt, on a AAA?
Buy a Nintendo Switch.
It's true.
Yeah. Maybe.
Their games are just done. They come out. And then there's DLC later, which DLC is different than a finished game.
It is.
So.
Yeah, that's how you get horse armor.
Do you guys think that the fan surveys will do anything, or do you think this is a?
I think so. I mean, well, it'll at least show how difficult it is to change it, because their fan surveys do seem to be directly addressing the specialist tree, or whatever you want to call it, the specialist mode. So I know we had a bit of a chat on it on our Discord, which, I mean, if you want to be involved in that chat, guess what? You should probably just go to our Discord, because it gets way more detailed there. But who knows? I think it's something they can fix, at least to a point. It might not be what it used to be, but it could be something that's still fun.
Agreed. Anything else you dudes want to cover on Battlefield?
Nope. Just I'm salty little bitch, just like it was when I was playing the game over the weekend.
It was kind of funny. There was a point where you just stopped talking, and I was like, dude, why did you tell me that guy was right in front of both of us? I'm watching this flank. I saw you go that way, so I'll watch this way. Then I get gunned down from the same side, and I heard nothing. I was like, where are you? So that was kind of fun
I think you were like,
to get that side.
Are you mad, Matt? And then, as I was using this headset, I pull it down. I go, "Yep," and then I put it back up.
I think I asked if you were crabby. I was like, Matt, are you crabby?
Well,
I just know it's not fun listening to people bitch and complain all the time. So whenever easy way for me, if I get in one of those moods where I was on, what was that, Friday night, I just put my mic up. Then I could sit here and bitch all I wanted, but I'm not annoying the shit out of you guys.
The funny part is, the second I realized that's what was going on before, like right before Mike asked, I'm like, you know, this is about every single one of our experiences. The first time we play Hell Let Loose, everyone just has that brief moment where they kind of just shut down. They just play and power through it. And after that, either they completely quit or they learn to enjoy it to an extent.
That was my first experience with Hell Let Loose. You just said that. For 30 minutes, all I did was die. And I put up my mic because I was frustrated. And then I rage quit.
Yep.
You guys
There's
are
a
like,
really big learning curve to that game, though.
Oh, it's
like,
so much bigger. Yeah.
You can't Call of Duty it. You can't Battlefield it.
No.
You have to be intelligent as you're moving around. You have to work together, because if you like, anytime you go off alone, you're dead. Like, it didn't matter. You had to run with your squad.
Or you had to be super lucky.
Yep. Cool. Well, if there's nothing else, if you had thoughts as you're listening that you wanted to include in the conversation, as Chris said, join us at our Discord. You can check out all of our different social medias and our YouTube page. If you go to campfiregamingpodcast.com, you can just search YouTube for Campfire Gaming Podcast. We're the ones with the black and green fire letters, not the other one, because I think that's just an offshoot of another show. But check us out. Hopefully, if you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Until next time, I suppose, we'll see you all around the campfire.